This week's weekly ritual is dedicated to the memory and the music of Sven Gross, the vocalist of Fleshcrawl, who died this week at age 44. Rest in power. What's up, everybody? It's Keefe, and you're watching the Weekly Ritual, Ghost Cult's news show, right here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. GhostCultMag.com is a small business. With that out of the way, let's get into it. In case you missed it, features at Ghost Cult Magazine. We kick this week's features off with a bang. We talked to Jesper Gunn of Ghost Iris. Their brand new album, Comatose, is out now on Long Branch Records. We also talked to Andy Dowling of Lord and the Andy Social Podcast. Lord is an incredible Australian heavy metal band, and Andy is a lot of fun to chat with. We also talked to Serena Cherry of Svalbard, all about her black metal solo project, Noctule, and their debut album, Wretched Abyss. You still have time to win killer merch in the Infernal Trio giveaway. That's right, we're giving away music and merch from the Inferno Doll, Hernox, and Gaia Garda. Check it out at the link below and enter now. And now, the news rundown. We start this week's ritual off with a heavy heart as we bring you the news of the passing of Sven Gross of Fleshcrawl. The great death metal vocalist died at age 44 this week after a one-year battle with cancer that he lost, surrounded by his wife and friends and family. The news was broken on social media by the band on the band account, and we're just deeply sorry to hear this loss for the death metal community. Rest in power, Sven. Shows and festivals are back, my friends. Drop a comment below and tell us what is your first show or festival back after this long break of bleakness. Leading things off, we have the complete lineup of California Deathfest. Taking over the 1720 Club in Los Angeles in January is going to be a bunch of killer bands over a few days. The lineup features Autopsy, Pentagram Chile, Skinless, Vile, Decrepit Birth, Sacramentum, and so many crushing bands. It's crazy. Devin Townsend announced tour dates for Europe in the spring of 2022, supporting his upcoming new album, Lightworker, which we expect to be out by that time on Inside Out Music. He's working on that record right now. Stoner rock legends Red Fang just announced a North American headline tour supporting their just-released album, Arrows. The band will hit Alaska for the very first time ever, and bands on the tour include Starcrawler, Here Lies Man, and Warish. Full Terror Assault Open Air has completed their lineup for this September with the additions of Devourment, Nunslaughter, and Plague Years, the local boys. Super awesome, this awesome European-style American brutal extreme thrash, death metal, doom metal, black metal festival is gonna be a banger, y'all. Get your tickets now. This one might sell out. Kiss has announced the latest leg of the End of the Road tour dates. They're coming back on the road to finish out the string. They have book dates through the end of October, probably going to extend into next year. I cannot imagine the band finishing up their glorious career without a stop at Madison Square Garden, or the final shows are expected to be at Madison Square Garden. They were supposed to play their final show this summer in New York City, the city they're from. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that happens. Who am I kidding? Realistically, they're going to come up with some reason to keep touring. I know they are. You have reached the life model decoy of Gene Simmons. Thrash metal legends Flotsam and Jetsam have announced a small string of West Coast dates to support their brand new album, the kick-ass album, Blood in the Water, out now on All for Metal, AFM Records, one of the best record label names, and one of the best record labels, the hell with it. Awesome guys. Flotsam and Jetsam, Flots till death, y'all. It's gonna be a thrash-tastic time. Get your tickets now. Two other huge names in the Mount Rushmore of Stoner Doom, The Obsessed and The Skull, will team up for a co-headline tour of America. There'll be some other openers, local and otherwise. Wino will play some shows as an opener, as a solo act from his Unplugged record last year from Ripple Music. This is a can't-miss tour, folks. Fresh off their win at the Juno Awards, Unleash the Archers will do a headline tour of North America where they will play all their jams as well as songs from their winning album, Abyss, out now on Napalm Records. Otep has announced a headline tour of America. Sermons of Fire, the likely name of her upcoming new album. We have no other details about that album, but super stoked for some new Otep live ministrations. Skid Row has announced a special concert in California where they will play all of the classic Skid Row albums, Slave to the Grind, which just celebrated a 30th anniversary. Skid Row is currently fronted by former Dragon Force singer ZP Dirt. Sebastian Back, not to be outdone, has rebooked his tour where he will play all of Slave to the Grind every night on tour for several months. like 2 Christmases, the children of divorce. Yay! 2 Skid Rows. Lots of stuff going on in the Slipknot camp this week. The band has announced the postponement of their expected 2021 summer tour dates. They were really trying to pull it off, but they can't. They have instead booked the Knotfest Roadshow. They will play those European tour dates next summer. No word yet if they're going to hit all the festivals they were going to run and headline. Clown M. Sean Crahan has released 3 new songs and talked about the unreleased Slipknot album that may or may not come out before the next Slipknot album that they're recording right now in the studio. The band has a tribute song to Paul Gray, rest in peace. We'll see if that ever hears the light of day. He's been talking about it a lot in the press. Clown is basically the straw that stirs the drink with Slipknot. I know Corey Taylor is the one we always hear about, but Clown is actually the main focal point of that band, and he drives a lot of the stuff they do. So super interesting stuff in the Slipknot camp. Deafheaven has dropped a brand new single, Great Mass of Color, from their upcoming album Infinite Granite, due later this summer from Sargent House Records. The song is awesome. It's actually barely metal. Maybe at the very end it's got a little flourish of black metal, but really the song seems like a tribute to The Cure. Well, I wonder if this is the whole direction of the new album. We're here for it. We hope it is. Red alert, y'all! Wolves in the Throne Room are back. The US black metal legends are dropping a brand new album, Primordial Arcana. Say that 5 times fast. They dropped a new single that's called Mountain Magic, and you can pre-order the album now from their Bandcamp or from RelapseRecords.com. Machine Head has dropped 3 new singles, a 3-song single. 3-song single? I don't know numbers. Machine Head has 3 new songs. They're awesome. One being Arrows in Words from the Sky, which is an epic song in the style of Halo. It's got great singing, great playing. It's very heavy and emotional. The Blistering Become the Firestorm and Rotten, also a groove metal banger. Machine Head also announced the end of the Burn My Eyes tours. The celebratory tours are over. That included Chris Kontos and Logan Mader. Chris was apparently unawares of this ending. Rob just announced it on the Machine Head Facebook, Rob Flynn. And Chris, voiced some surprise, but he was grateful for the opportunity. We love the Burn My Eyes shows, and hopefully there'll be some more jams that Rob Flynn wrote with Logan Mader. But in the meantime, going forward, the new chapter of Machine Head starts now. Avant-garde heavy metal band Philm has dropped a brand new single and video for their song Cries of the Century. They still don't have a permanent drummer following Dave's departure, but their new album, Time Burner, came out last year on Metalville Records. Crosses is in the studio. That's the side project band from Chino Moreno of Deftones and Sean Lopez of Far. We've been tracking this story for months and months, actually since last fall. They hinted that they had been working on material and it could be finished, a new album during the pandemic. They are indeed working on new stuff according to their Instagrams. Hype. Behemoth has dropped a brand new video for their song I Have to Read Off My Phone, Shadows of Ea Cast Upon Golgotha, from their EP last year, A Forest, out on Metal Blade Records right now. Nergal has said that this video is the final death cry of the I Loved You at Your Darkest album cycle, their last full-length record. They're writing their new full-length album now. Get excited if you love Behemoth. Doc Coyle of Bad Wolves and the X-Man podcast says that, God forbid, we'll someday reunite. This makes me particularly happy. You know that Doc has had tremendous success with the band Bad Wolves, despite the war words in the press with former singer Tommy Vext. Bad Wolves has a new album on the way with their new singer Dee Laskowitz. In his X-Man podcast recently, Doc said that the members of God Forbid are on good terms and it will happen. It's just a question of when, as members of the band have children and jobs and careers. But someday they will reunite. It's definitely on the table. This is great news. We heard that Shadows Fall is plotting a return of some kind toward the end of this year, maybe a one-off concert or a small tour. We would love to see God Forbid come back. They founded in 1996, and we love those guys. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back. Code Orange is in the studio with Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins working on new music together, perhaps a cover of Smashing Pumpkins' classic Disarm, the classic ballad. Code Orange has shown during this entire pandemic they are one of the most inventive and creative bands in the world. They will try anything. They did an unplugged live stream where they played Alice in Chains covers. Working with Billy Corgan is not that far-fetched for those guys, so we're interested to see what comes out of it. Pain is back, the band fronted by Hypocrisy frontman Pete Tochgren and world-class producer. He dropped a brand new single and video, Party in My Head, a classic anthem for these post-pandemic times, talking about what we were all feeling the last year and a half. The video is hilarious, the song is killer. He also dropped a recent single and cover of Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter, their most famous song, arguably. So really cool stuff from Peter. He is working on new music right now for many of his projects, and we have an interview coming up with him really soon that you'll get to see right here at Ghost Cult. Nashville psychedelic rockers Voltagehawk dropped a brand new single and video right here at Ghost Cult, Neon, from their upcoming new album, Electric Thunder, out later this year. Nearly $250,000 has been raised to help benefit Jason Becker. You might know the story of Jason. He is the legendary shredder. He played in Cacophony with Marty Freeman. Later he played in David Lee Roth's band on the Eat 'Em and Smile tour, and then he suffered ALS and he has been paralyzed ever since. He had a health scare recently that almost claimed his life, but he made it through, and it was an incredible auction on from shredders and rockers from across the world. Slash and Joe Satriani and Kirk Hammett all raised money from. Unbelievable that they have raised $250,000 to help their friend. This is a great story. We will continue to bring you more news. Stay up, Jason. We love you. Super cool news out of the Bay Area. Hammers of Misfortune will see a full remaster and vinyl release of their classic debut album, The Bastard. The band is reunited and is working on a new album right now, and this release will come from Cruise Del Sur Records, one of the best heavy metal labels in the world. System of a Down frontman Serj Tankian is back in the news. We seem to have a new story about him every week. One of the most productive guys in the world, in the music world. He has written a new piano concerto, which will drop today. You can hear it on Spotify and all streaming services. He wrote this during the pandemic. He put a little teaser of it up on his social media on Friday. And now, this week, a week later, here comes a full piano concerto. What will he do next? We don't know, but we're excited. What he probably won't do next is a new System of a Down record, but we know that already. Oh, too soon. Too soon? Too soon. Dee Snider held a headline concert this week in Long Island, his hometown, and he was joined by none other than his Twisted Sister bandmate, Mark the Animal Mendoza. They did a run-through of Under the Blade, the classic song. Dee's working on a new solo album, Leave a Scar, coming this summer from Napalm Records. He's part of Rock Me Amadeus, the awesome rock musical we featured recently. So much cool Dee Snider stuff, and a new book, and a new movie, and more stuff. Dee is the king. Metalcore band Lorna Shore dropped a brand new single and video, To the Fire, with their new singer, Will Ramos. You might know him from Awaken Providence and other bands. They have a new EP coming soon, and we are hyped for this crushing metal. Kiss performed a 5-song set live at the Tribeca Film Festival. We brought you news from them before. We've covered it before. All part of A&E's upcoming biography, Kisstory, directed by a friend of the band and featuring Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and the current members of Kiss. Unfortunately, no participation from Ace and Peter, but what do you expect? The band played 5 killer songs, kind of a mix of their 70s and 80s stuff, not too bad. And we're looking forward to Kiss getting back on the road to finish the End of the Road tour before they retire. Asking Alexandria has signed a brand new record deal with Better Noise Music for the UK. They're signed to Sumerian Records in the US, and the band is currently in the studio recording their brand new album due out later in 2021. Super7 Toys has just dropped a brand new trio of new reaction figures from heavy metalers like Iron Maiden and Motorhead and Venom in the style of import records you used to get from Japan, with the little Japanese writing on them and alternate covers for some classic albums and classic reaction figures. Super7 is awesome. You can check their whole line of music toys out at super7.com or at the Super7 store in San Francisco. I shit you not. Unbelievable stories you can't make up. This week's I Shit You Not, we bring you the story of Orion Gregory Allman, the grandson of the late, great Greg Allman, the co-founder of the Allman Brothers. Orion jumped on stage with the Allman Betts Band, which includes his family members, and jammed some organ out, just like his granddad. Orion has been playing organ since he's 3 years old, and piano and organ and all kinds of keyboards. And this is amazing. I don't know if he's going to have his own band or what, but this is obviously a youngster to watch. We need to pay attention to. Allman Betts is wrapping up an East Coast headline tour, and then they go on tour on the West Coast and the rest of the country with Blackberry Smoke coming soon. And now for a look at Who Rules It Streaming. This week's Who Rules It Streaming, we welcome back in Robert Fripp of King Crimson, his lovely wife Toya Wilcox, and Sidney Jake, all covering the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams as made famous by Marilyn Manson. Perhaps they're not paying attention to some of the Marilyn Manson drama out there right now. But it's super cool that they did this awesome fun cover, and Toya flashed Robert, and it was hysterical. Please, Toya, don't kill Robert with your boobs.
And now for a look at some of the music on New Music Friday. Livestream. A Moment to Silence, Unique Leader Records, Archaeopteryx, Vision Chaotique d'un Son Halluciné EP, Personal Records, Bolito, Against the World, Fighter Records, Chalice of Sin, Self-Titled, Frontiers SRL, Crescent, Carving the Fires of Akhet, Listenable Records, Crowbot, Ratchild EP, Mascot Records, Crown, Kings in the North, Frontiers SRL, The Day of the Beast, Indisputably Carnivorous, Prosthetic Records, Dead Witches and Witch Throat Serpent, Doom Sessions Volume 666 EP, Heavy Psych Sounds, Demon Incarnate, Leaves of Zachem, Metalville Records, Dremora, Death Rectangle, self-released, Eye of Purgatory, The Lighthouse, Transcending Obscurity, Fear Factory, Aggression Continuum, Nuclear Blast, Heavy Temple, Lupia Morris, Magnetic Eye Records, Elohim, self-titled, Nuclear Blast, Kent Hill, The Rumble, Frontiers SRL, Moan Hand, Present Serpent, Burning Shrine, Pharaoh, The Powers That Be, Cruz del Sur, Social Disorder, Love to Be Hated, AFM Records, Subway to Sally, Eichlige Nacht, Back to Linden Park, DVD and CD, Napalm Records, and Timo Tolkki's Avalon, The Enigma Birth, Frontiers SRL.
And now for a look in our mailbag. This week's mailbag, we featured the awesome 2018 self-titled release of Witch Mountain, their first release with vocalist Kayla Dixon. We got this bad boy at Amoeba Music in San Francisco. Thanks, Amoeba. This album smokes. We're looking forward to some new Witch Mountain before too long. You made it to the end of the show, so you know what time it is. It's the end. Thanks for watching. GhostColdMag.com is a small business, and we really appreciate the support. Drop a comment, smash that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and tell a friend all about Ghost Cold. As we say every week at this juncture, it's a tough time in the world, so please, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and stay fucking metal.